Welcome to Spirits Are Talking, hosted by Lisa Silverman. Join us every Tuesday night for live on-air psychic medium readings, crystal energy healings, oracle card readings, chakra balancing, and so much more. Host Lisa Silverman is a natural-born intuitive, psychic, medium, and spiritual life coach, working professionally in the metaphysical healing arts since 2015. Lisa communicates with loved ones and pets that have passed on for emotional healing and answers. Not to mention, she is an established interior designer since 2009, focusing on feng shui, modern design, and house healings by creating a harmonious energy flow for her clients. Now, your host of Spirits Are Talking, Lisa Silverman.
Hi, welcome to Spirits Are Talking with me, Lisa. Ran a couple minutes late, couldn't get on earlier, so I'm so grateful to be here. Everyone who's joining me, if you are on live or replay, we're going to just take a breath and slow down wherever you are in the world. Thank you for spending this time with me. You could be anywhere in the world and wherever, whether you're listening to it live or on replay. I appreciate you spending the time with me to hear what I have to say about spirit and talking. So, hi. Okay, I have the comments on. I'm not going to answer a bunch of questions in between the first few minutes, but I am going to do live mediumship. So I do have someone that wants to come through already, but I just wanted to talk about a few things like what is mediumship? If you don't know, I'm sure you know by now what it is. It's channeling spirit, but it's an energy of collective. It's something that you just tap into and kind of know. And some people are just born that way and just are immediately, blown out into the spiritual world. I was born that way, but I wasn't immediately blown out of the spiritual world, but I was always very sensitive. And that's the first sign of being, able to, we all have psychic abilities. Okay. So you just have to tap into yours. And sometimes they just tap into you and you don't know it, like what happened to me, which you can hear on my first podcast. So anyway, thanks again for joining me. If you haven't had a mediumship session, they're very interesting because what happens again is I connect with guides and they're more like a collective, if you will. And I invite the archangels. So different teams come in. We all have guides and guardian angels, and they're like a pair of lungs, right? We're born with them. They're with us sometimes many, many lifetimes, I believe. If you don't, that's fine. But I believe that our guides come in when we take our first breath. So, and they're with us for lifetimes and lifetimes, and they're here to help us. And that accident that almost happened, or you just missed one, or, the flight was delayed for a reason, all those things, those are guardian angels that jump in to help you on your journey. So they have saved many, many people. And I've had channeled many people that have talked about their guides, guardians, assisting them and ancestors. When there's been an issue or something, scary coming up, they're like swept away by a force, and it could be your higher power, whatever you want to call it. I believe it's your guides. So when I'm doing mediumship, I call in my guides, guardians, angels to create a sacred space, and then I automatically create a sacred space, and then they connect to my client or who I'm reading, or even not reading. Like they'll just come in, and I do some random messages where I've been in Vegas in a showroom or at the gas station. It's like, is your grandma coming through? Yes. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but by any chance, did she die when you were 4? And then the person says yes. And I'm like, I'm a medium. So I have to explain it sometimes. But what's interesting about what I do, and I'm going to take some questions and do some readings for sure in a few minutes, is I get the opportunity to talk to your loved ones. It's such an honor and a privilege to speak to the other side. And I didn't know I could do this till about 8 years ago when I was kicked out of the spiritual closet by Joe. And you can hear about him in my other podcasts, and I'm so grateful for him. But it's an honor. And it's, when you're delivering these messages, whatever they are, they're not always, unicorns and rainbows, to be honest. They're not. They're the truth. They're telling their story and giving me evidence to connect to you so that you know that I'm speaking to that specific person. But there's a lot of apologies. I feel like I'm an apology medium because I do get a lot of apologies from so many loved ones. I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you. And they're there now. And you can have a close relationship, which is so interesting, with your loved ones that have passed over. Thank you all for joining me. And so like with my mom, I feel closer to her now than I did a lot of times when she was alive, which is very interesting. And I've heard that from quite a few other mediums too, that feel that way with their loved ones. And you might too. You know, we all have the 6, 7, 8, we have a lot of senses, right? So just because I speak to spirit and loved ones, and it's such an honor and privilege to get the details of what they want to share in your life. And I learned so much about you, and it's like a sacred thing. And it's real. Okay. So energy is real and love never dies. And it's such an honor, and it comes with a price. And it's like a sacred, you know, when I'm talking to a client or a person in front of me and I have a message and they say, well, what about this? Or what about that? And if the spirit doesn't want to talk about it, they're just not going to talk about it. They'll just shut it down. Most of the time they'll open up after a few minutes, but if they don't want to talk about a subject, they just won't. So I find that interesting. I also find what's so interesting is the family dynamics that come out in sessions about, you know, who the middle child was or who the youngest was, or, you know, that the father wasn't around, or it's just very, very interesting and beautiful. And so I feel lucky to do this work. It's not work, it's play. But it's definitely a healing. Okay. So I'm going to share a wild story. I think it's one of my most wild mediumship sessions, and I've had a lot of them, and I'm going to share this. And I hope I didn't share it before. I'm going to just be pretty brief and cut to the point of the most mind-blowing, probably to me. It's the top few. Okay. Because they're all mind-blowing in their own way. But this is a top few. So to make a really long story short, I was at the doctor's office and I had to get blood pressure just to check up. This is about, 5 years ago. And I said, by any chance, did you lose 3 people? She said, no. And I said, okay, well, what about the receptionist? Did someone here lost 3 people that was very close to them? And she's like, oh, it was definitely the receptionist. So I go out there and I say, I'm so sorry, but I know this is kind of strange, but by any chance, did you lose 3 people? And she said, yeah. I said, like a father, sister, and like a young man who's like a boyfriend? And she said, yeah. So I said, okay, well, anyway, to make a long story short, I chat on her boyfriend. She starts crying. He shows me exactly what happened to him, that he was ill. She went to feed the meter. She came back, then he passed, and he was 1 of 4. And she kept saying, no, he's not 1 of 4. And she forgot about a half sibling. And he kept insisting he's 1 of 4. To make a longer story short, she came back to see me in private with her mom. Okay. She was mind blown. She had to go to the bathroom, cry it out a little. Her boyfriend was so lovely and was so sorry. It was just, okay. So she comes with her mom, and this girl and her mom lost a sister and a daughter. So the daughter, comes in, and also the husband came through and the boyfriend came through again, the same 3 people that I felt in the doctor's office. And so, but when the sister came in, I'll start coughing because this is what happens when I talk about her. And this is another side effect of being a medium, is the elements that happen physically when you're channeling someone that had an illness or has a pang or a pinch or a back or a bladder infection, whatever. It's so bizarre. So anyway, when they came here, she immediately comes in and she tells me she's about 24. And so I'm like, oh, she was very young. I'm so sorry. But that makes sense. They said, yes. I said, she's also telling me that she was sick for a long time. And I'm so sorry. And I'm coughing and coughing. So I'm like, it's upper respiratory. Does that make sense? And they said, yeah. And so I said, so she was sick. And then she apologized for being sick so long, for so much of her life, and apologized to her family, and that she was with her father. And then I said, but she was ill for a lot of her life because she apologized for taking time away. Then she got better, and then she died. Would that make sense? And they're like, yes. So I was finding it very interesting as I'm listening to this beautiful young girl, and I start coughing and coughing and coughing, and I can barely talk. And I said, it's the upper respiratory. And they said, yeah. I said, what? She wouldn't tell me what she had, but she said, they said she had cystic fibrosis. And I was like, wow. So immediately they proceed. I said, well, then, but she was sick and then she got better and then she passed. She had 4 years or so really good. So what happened there? Because it was like this disconnect. So they said she had a lung transplant. And I was like, wow. As soon as I was like, wow. As soon as they said that, I swear, this is exactly how it goes down. This young energy comes flying into my space, in my where we are, in my living room, and says, woohoo, I'm the donor. And I'm like, he's like, young dude, about 16. And I'm like, okay, funny, hold on. Because he could be a trickster, if you will. I don't know. This is 5 years ago. I'm definitely would know if it was a trickster immediately. Now, it doesn't happen very often. So he goes, woohoo, I'm the donor. And I'm so proud my parents donated all my organs. And he goes on and on and on. I was 16. I was like, hold on. Because I'm talking to the daughter. And now I have this young donor coming through. So I say to the mother and sister, by any chance, do you know who the donor was? And they said, I said, just yes or no. I don't want to know. And they said, yes. I said, by any chance, do you know how old the donor was? And they said, yes. And I said, do you know how the donor passed? And they said, yeah. And I said, you know the location? And they said, yeah. Anyway, so they had all the yeses. So then I invite him to tell me exactly what he's talking about. So he proceeds to tell me he was 16 years old. And I was like, I'm so sorry. He died instantly in a car accident in Los Angeles. And she got his lungs. So I said, I have this young energy coming through. I tell them what they said. Their face like falls off. Exactly. He was 16. He died in a car accident. It was in a Mustang. He showed me the car, this blue Mustang. And he died with a friend instantly, no pain, but he was just so glad that he could give his organs and eyes and lungs to her. But he was also saying to me, which was so interesting, that he wished she obviously got more life out of the lungs than she did, only 4 years. But that often happens with that type of a thing. But also that she took on his traits. Like he was a runner and she started running. And thank you. And she started running and she never ran before. So also there was like food things too. I'm listening to my guides and having recall. That's why I'm like looking up to the left. I always receive from the left. If you're watching me live, I'm looking to the left and listening. So that was pretty mind blowing. And the parents didn't want to meet them, but were so glad that they were able to help their daughter. And he was too. He was absolutely darling. A total blonde LA surfer dude, cute 16-year-old, who was happy as can be that his parents shared all his organs when he still lives on in people's lives. That's what he feels. He's so connected. So anyway, that was my mind-blowing story. And I was able to share that with a few world-renowned mediums. And they were like, whoa, I've never channeled a donor before. And so hopefully I'll do that again sometime. But I want to take some questions. But before I do, hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me and listening to my donor transplant story that was so wild. They all got a healing from that session. If you haven't had a reading with me, I'm offering a coupon code for my podcast listeners. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And it's called, podcast 20 at the checkout. And it's for my 4 most popular services, which are obviously mediumship, pet intuitives, which is so great. Speaking to your pets that are here. I just had a really lovely pet session yesterday with somebody. I think he's on here. Yep. Hi. And then I do chakra balancing, my mediumship, and oracle card readings. They're all 20% off with that code. And it's for a limited time only, maybe 2 weeks. Okay. So I just want to throw that out there. And so anybody, I'm just going to pull a card for all of us from the wisdom of the oracle. We're going to talk about oracle cards for a second. Oracles help you determine the next right step so you stay on your path with growth and empowerment. They give us amazing messages for our next right actions. This practical yet spiritual divination tool has helped thousands of people, including myself, transform their lives and feel more grounded and spiritually connected, and find guidance in their path to their unique, authentic, and inspired life. Spirit is always speaking to us, but sometimes we don't really get the message. Oracle cards are a divination system that tap into our dominant energy or what's going on for our highest good. And I'm going to use the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. She's one of my mentors. I'm always in Oracle school. And we're just going to take a little temperature, of what's going on. What do we need to know for our highest good? Whoever was on live or on replay, in this moment in time, whatever that is for you, there is no time constraints on the other side. So universal time, whatever that is, but I'm shuffling the cards. And on this day, which is the very last day of February, wow, a lot of transits, a lot of things are going on. The skies, astrological wise, that's a word, astrology wise. And a lot of us are being asked to have breakthroughs, breakdowns, break things, break open, make moves, sign contracts, move money. I mean, it's really intense. I don't know what the planets are exactly, but we're experiencing that. If any of you are experiencing being tired lately, it's because you're up leveling. And that means growing, finding more certainty, looking inside, taking a next right action, and being more aware. So what do we need to know for our highest good with the oracles tonight? There's no place like home and protection. There's no place like home. It's card number 50. It came out upside down, which has a different meaning. It's the reverse card. And it's true. There's no place like home, but there's also, where is home? Home is where the heart is, right? You can make any place home, but the essence of the card is authenticity, coming home to yourself and feeling at home, arriving at a place where you just fit, being comfortable in your own skin. Isn't that true? Just being comfortable in your own skin. There are times when what is familiar and known is not always the best choice. Human beings are memory-driven creatures, and we look for certainty for what we know, even if the qualities we seek in other people and in external conditions are expressed in unhealthy ways. That means if you're in a toxic relationship or environment, it's time to get the heck out. Choose something unfamiliar and trust that you will find new normal that supports your spirit. Remember, if you do what you do, you'll get what you got. And the opposite of what feels right, even if it's uncomfortable, because what feels right isn't always what is really good for us. And you will attract and be drawn to the very things you don't want anymore if you stay in that familiarity. This is a time this time will not be any different unless you do something different. So it's asking you to take the right action. I hope this resonates for you. Take the right action steps. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you got. And if it feels crappy, then let it go, move on. It's like, but we've all been in a lockdown and we're just coming back to life. This spring's going to be the biggest rebirth, I think, for so many people. That's my prediction. We are really coming out now. I don't know if anyone can relate, but that's what I think is we are caterpillars in a cocoon. And then by the springtime, we're all going to be butterflies and way better for the wear. Sorry, I dropped a card. I'm just wiggling. I don't mean to be. It flew out for a reason. So I have to pick it up and take it. This is what happens on the live. And the card that flew out, which is very interesting, is orphaned, card number 5. WTF. Okay, orphaned. It doesn't always just mean solitude and feeling alone, even though a lot of us have felt that way, including myself at times. And that's even more reason why the there's no place like home card is so important. And it's about a sense of loss, this card. An identity crisis, recognizing you don't fit in, the need to belong, uncertainty about your place. The oracle message, we are all meant to have connections with other people within our family, society, and the larger culture. No man is an island. And it's important to recognize that when being part of then rather than separate from is essential to your well-being. I mean, really, being part of then separate from is essential to your well-being. Hello, that's how I've been feeling. Perhaps you no longer identify with the group or community the way you did before and need to find a new situation. You might be feeling a deep sense of loss or confusion right now. Address the need for belonging and know that you will find your place with others of like-minded spirits. It's okay to let go of pressure to fit in. Not everyone will understand you, and it's time to move on. Does that resonate with anyone? The relationship piece of this card is as you shift and evolve and commit your own growth, you long for support, but may be disappointed and hurt by others who are not providing what you feel you deserve. Perhaps you're drifting away from relationships and time to make new ones. That's the essence of the card, okay? And this card reminds you that you can't be all things to all people. You're not going to be popular with everyone, and that it's okay to be with you. Be clear about your mission and your brand and your work persona and your contribution to the world. That's what's really important, is your contribution to the world. And there's also no place like home and being authentic in your own skin while doing it. Okay. So I hope that resonates. Those were beautiful. They really hit home for me. No place like home and orphaned. Okay, so I'm going to jump in with was hitting home. The orphan card was hitting home. I'm going to read the comments now. I'm going to try to get this so I can read the comments. Anyone want to say anything? Thank you, Heather. Yeah, orphan card was hitting home. That resonates. Thank you. Never had an oracle card reading. You should book one. They're such truth tellers. Whew. This is just a taste of what the oracles are. You know, and if it hit home, it's like meant to be your message. So thank you for being here. I have a David. I'm going to ask in the comments because it's going to be, I said I was going to do readings. Did anyone lose a David? I feel like he was a brother, someone's brother. I wrote David down when I first sat down. I have notes from a lot of my readings now. I'm keeping notes or scrabble notes, and I can look back and tell a story when I've circled number 13 or number 5, or one time I just did a session, wrote 34 and triplets. I'm like, what does 34 and triplets mean? It was a group, and there were 34 and there were triplets. They didn't look anything like. That was on the Zoom. So anybody lose a David in the comments? I don't have. What oracle cards do I use? I use all of Colette Baron Reed's oracle cards. And the deck that I use tonight is called Wisdom of the Oracle. And it's one of my favorite decks. It's just a beautiful, beautiful deck of just divine messages. So I think we have to go to break in a minute, but what the interesting thing about the oracle cards, because for me, those two just hit home, like can't make that up, you know, and they're not, I mean, I don't use them every single day, but I use them a lot. Okay. And I use them in my practice, and I don't pull a card every single day. I pull a card probably 5 times a week. So every time I pull a card, it's accurate. And I journal about it. So it's like, what do I need to know for my highest good? And oh, that's interesting. And I'm like, I just got regeneration. Well, it's true. I need to feel like I need to rejuvenate myself and get some R&R. And so they do Age of David. David was kind of, I want to say he was 40s or older. Age of David. Okay, no, this one's past. I'm reading the comments. Courtney says Age of David, and I have a son David, but not past. No, this person David's passed over. So we'll see. You never know. He might be a Cleon for someone else. A Cleon is a message. Stephanie, a friend, David at 40. Was he in his 30s? She's asking me. I believe he was younger. 32. Okay. Maybe. I'm going to tap into him. We're going to go to a break in a minute. Commercial break. And I will tap into this David. I feel like David, did you know him since you were a little girl? Because he's shown me a long time. I'm writing down long time friends. So can you say yes or no if that makes sense? Long-time friends. No, then this isn't for you. This David's not for you. I keep getting he's 40. So, okay. We're going to be right back. Oh, interesting. No, we're going to be right back. And I'll see you in flip side. Thank you so much for being with me. If you need to get a cup of tea or something, little potty break, come back. If you have a question, let's answer them. I'm going to read the comments, and then I'm going to answer the questions and see who comes through. I'm going to go wash my hands because that always brings people in too. So see you in a minute.
The body code is a revolutionary method of energetic healing developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson, which allows us to quickly and easily identify specific imbalances that seem to underline chronic ill health, acute and chronic pain and discomfort, dysfunction, and stress. Ellie energetically connects with the subconscious of the client. Psychic medium Ellie Weisensell is a medical intuitive and energy healer and a certified body code practitioner. She identifies and clears energetic imbalances within the body and energy field. Contact Ellie at the website below, and Ellie can work remotely from a distance, by phone, online, video chat. There's no need to travel to an office. Remember, the body code is safe for humans and animals. Contact Ellie today.
Thanks for joining me back. I washed my hands, changed the energy. I asked David, let's see. David, I'm using my pendulum. If you don't know what a pendulum is, this is my pendulum. And if you're watching me, then you can see what it's doing. It goes back and forth. Goes away from me, towards me and away from me for yes, for the listeners. And it's going very fast. Show me which way is yes. And then when I say show me which way is no, it's going to go side to side, changes directions. Show me which way is I don't know. And it always goes in a clockwise circle. And it just changed directions. Show me which way is I don't know, don't care, don't want to know. It always goes the opposite. So for you viewers, hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to take some questions. And I'm using this. I was wondering if donating your organs kept part of your soul alive. I think so. If the recipient takes on things from the donor, definitely tempo. It's so true. Vibrations stay for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. And I believe that the essence, when you donate an organ, that's such a great question too. When you donate an organ, your soul's imprint is in your body. So it made total sense that she was eating different foods and running in this crazy, strange way. I've heard that before with other people that were living and how to transplant, and their taste buds changed. They all of a sudden started craving different foods that they never wanted before. So yeah, and souls divide. We don't stay in, I believe, in just one, souls divide, and they can be with you. They can be in, still in the organ. And Yeah, it's a great question. So the answer is yes. The long answer. And then the other question is, can you see if a coworker will face any consequences for her behavior? She is a bully and creates hostile environment and has accused several employees. Oh, wow. I hope so. I mean, karma is going to even the playing field for her regardless, but that's an awful experience to have to deal with. So let's see if the coworker, I think she's probably going to get fired, but I don't want to say. So which way is yes? Is this coworker going to end up getting fired? Probably. The pendulum's going yes. So, and just, I say stay away. Does anybody have a person that they'd like to connect with a name? Is there a Georgia or a George? Anybody lose a Georgia or a George? I'm waiting for the comments. I have a Georgia or a George coming in. No. Oh, Roger. Let me see Roger. Maybe I can connect to Roger. George is the father of David. Okay, Stephanie. Thank you. That's the connection. Is George past? I love this. This is what's so amazing about mediumship. I first said David, and I wrote it down before I even got on the computer. Finally, on air. Then no. Oh, but the David. Okay, wait a minute. So you're saying George is alive, but David is his son, and you just started him. I don't know if that's the connection. He passed. Yeah. Hang on 1 second. Let me just see. Is this related to Stephanie's? No, he's not. It's related to. No, because this David's coming in appearing older than 32 also. So I'm not going to stab at anything. I'm divinely guided by spirit. And if I see it, if I see the connection or feel this and look at your name, whether it's here on live TikTok or wherever I'm at, then it stands out and I'm like, oh yeah, that's for you, but it's not for you tonight, Stephanie. Wilma. Tina's asking, Wilma, Jesse, Raymond. Was Raymond your father or father figure? I'm getting a hit about Raymond. Was Raymond your mother's Georgia? Oh my God, Philip, you're kidding. I just saw the comments. My mother's Georgia and my dad is George. He just said that. My parents are George and Georgia and they both passed. Okay, well, they're here, Philip. They're here. And that's so funny. Of course they're here. I can't make this up. I wrote it down, George and Georgia. I mean, this is my spirit scribble scrabble. If you're watching, it's written down. They're with you. And they're with, okay, it's all one big family. Okay, did you, George and Georgia, I can't believe it. That's so interesting. Do you have a sibling that's passed, or is it just, are they with a child? They're showing me they're with a younger contemporary, your age. So, oh, I know who it is. Is it your sibling though, too? I'm getting sibling. I know, it's your cousin. It's your cousin. He's with your cousin. Can you confirm that with me? Okay, so he's Yeah, well, they're coming through. I think I've met them before. Their energy is very familiar. Is that right? Did I channel them for you? They want to say that they're around you. They love you, of course, but they also want you to know that they're with your cousin. They're with your cousin. He passed. Yeah. Okay. They're with your cousin, your contemporary. I'm writing contemporary, sibling or cousin. So they're all three of them are together. And I feel like Georgia had a sister or two sisters because she's showing me she's with two women. And the Philip saying, yes, that's true. That they're with a cousin. I feel like there's a lot of feminine energy on your mom's side, which is Georgia. So I'm waiting for him to answer me. I love how spirit comes in. 5 sisters. Holy cow. You know, you can't make this up. I saw 2, and then I saw a bunch of women. And I'm like, she has strong feminine energy on her female side. Yes, thank you. Validation. She's here. Yes, she has 5 sisters. Thank you. Philip saying, yes, she has 5 sisters. So this is their way of identifying that they're here. I mean, seriously. So this is their way of showing you that your parents are with you, and she's with all her sisters because they've been gone quite a while, I feel. Would that make sense? Your parents have been gone quite a while, I'd say over 10 years, feels like. And her sisters, she was close to a lot of them, and she's, you know, with you all the time and she hears you and sees you, and she doesn't want you to worry about things. Okay. She's telling me, don't worry about things. But she's also thrilled to be with all her sisters, okay? Because they were a close family. I'm getting this really tight-knit family with your mom. And your dad's just kind of sitting back, and your mom had the big personality and more outgoing than your dad. Yes, mom passed in 2006. Okay, thank you. Okay. So they're sending love. And she had one sister passed on the same day. Thank you. I'm so sorry. That's crazy. So Philip's saying his mom, Georgia, had 5 sisters, like she showed me all this feminine energy on her side, and that she had one sister that passed on the same day. That's wild. That's soulmate, karmic, connection right there. When people choose to do that and exit at the same time, or I forget who it was. Oh my gosh, where the mom died, and then, I can't think. And then she died 2 days later. Famous mother and daughter, and I'm drawing a blank. But that's like a soul connection. When you decide that you're just going to check out on the same day or a couple days apart, that's like boom. When my mom passed away, she had a group of 6 women. It was so wild. My mom's friend passed away, and then my mom, and then it was 6 women within 6 weeks. This whole group of women just decided to leave at the same time within 6 weeks. It was so shocking to all of us. So that was like a huge soul. And these women were all friends as children. It was so Debbie Reynolds and her daughter. Thank you. Yes, boom, boom. Debbie Reynolds and her daughter passed like a day apart. Thank you, Philip, for acknowledging that your parents came through and they're sending you so much love. And would your dad have had a more of a relaxed personality, and would your mom have been more outgoing? Because she wants me to make sure I say she was the one that was full of life, and she was the one that she had a big personality, bigger than your dad. I don't know why she wants me to know that, but she does. Then I'm going to go on to the next question or comment. Yes, you are correct. She did. Yeah. Your dad's just lovely too. He's just so sweet and mellow, and they're just sending you so much love. I'm so glad you were on here. That to catch your parents, George and Georgia. I love that name as a couple. I can't believe it that they weren't able to come through. And I hope you're doing well. And thank you so much for tuning in with me, Philip. Okay. Let's see. Roger. If someone's asking if Roger has any messages I can give his wife. She's grieving his loss and I want to help comfort her. Thank you. Okay. Roger. Let me tap into Roger, see if I can connect. Did Roger, so I'm looking to the left. If you're not watching, I look to the left because that's how I hear, see, feel, and stuff. So it's hard to see. So was Roger's passing very unexpected? Because he's showing me very quickly. Okay. You're welcome, Philip. Thank you. He's saying thank you very much. Amazing. Back to Roger. I'm asking if Roger passed very quickly because he's showing me a sudden ending and a completely unexpected. And you said yes, that he did. Okay. I'm so sorry. It was like a freak accident and completely unexpected. And he was relatively young, he's telling me. So I want to say, I want to see he's like 40s or maybe he's the 40s or 50s, but he wasn't very old. And it was really a freak thing. Does that make sense? I'm waiting for a comment. This is so fun. I love doing this. I want to be able to do live voices, though. Be able to pull people up sometime. Can you answer if that's true? Because he was older. Okay. Maybe he feels younger. I think he's outgoing. He's outgoing and he feels kind of younger. He wasn't expecting to pass. Maybe that's the vibe. And he figured he had a lot more, but he's funny. Actually, he's a character. He felt younger than he was. Okay. That's what he wants me to for sure tell you. And, does he have 3 children? He's showing me 3. I don't know if he died on a 3 and she's saying, yes, I believe that, his personality. And, he's saying he thought he had more time. Yeah. Does he have 3 kids? Why is he showing me 3? Does he have 3 girls, 3 boys, 3 kids? What's the 3? Married 3 times. Something significant with 3 regarding Roger. I feel like it's 3 children. He has 2, but I have chills. He had 2, but I have chills. I think he considers me. Okay. Interesting. Well, he's talking about 3. So 3, she writes, I have chills. He has 2, but I have chills. I think he considers me his own is the comment. Yes, there is a stepdaughter. Thank you. That makes sense. 3 kids. Okay. Then this is Roger. Yeah, please. This happened recently. Too. This was really recent also. So yeah, on the other side, people consider their stepdaughters, stepsons, their family. So that's why I see 3. Okay. So recently, yes. Okay. All his energies all over the house still. He said he lived in a house for a long time. Does that make sense with his wife? And he lived in this place for a long time. It feels very homey and worn in. Okay. And comfortable. Yeah. Make sure you tell her, the wife, their comment is, I love that. And I would tell his wife, please do. Yes, he built the home. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Because this house felt he was very attached to this house. He lived there a long time. And the fact that he built the home I said that his energy is all over the home. And now you're saying he built the home. Yes, he did build the home. His energy is blood, sweat, and tears in that place. His wife will feel him come to her, or she will feel him if she hasn't already. And she might want to, talk to me privately, but I feel you can give her this message because he's showing me like a breeze. So when she's sitting in the house and it's still, she's going to feel like a breeze or a swoosh of energy around her. And that's the sign when she's at her home that he's around her. And that's what he wants me to say. It's like swoosh around the face, or her hair blows, or it's like a blowing in the ear feeling. It's a very yummy, intimate gesture is what he's going to do. Okay. Swoop by her, and he's sending her so much love. Okay. Make sure you tell her that, please. And I'm glad I could tap into Roger, and he's fine. He's fine. He's good. He wants you to know, make sure you tell him, his family, that he's good and he's at peace. And for the first, few days or whatever, or week, because it hasn't been very long. Like, he's letting me know that it's been like within a couple months, maybe. Is that right? The reply was, she loves him. Tell him that. He knows that she loves him. Okay. She knows that. I mean, he knows that, of course. That's why he wanted me to make sure I knew about the house and the 3 kids, and his blood, sweat, and tears was in the house, to make sure that you know that I'm talking to him, to make sure that you tell her that Roger is sending his love. Only a month. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, this isn't even really real yet for her. Please tell her that love never dies. It just changes form. And I'm so sorry for her loss and your loss. And love never dies. Okay. And it's the hard part. You should give her my spiritsartalking.com. She can save 20% off, and she can have a private session with me, and we can do a lot of healing. But it's only been a month, and time does help. But grieving is something we can't escape, and it's like it cracks us open, and it makes us grow, and it hurts. But when like I know that love never dies, it just changes form. And when I can give messages, that are evidential like these, to let you know that they're with you and with their loved ones, it's true. And thank you so much for letting me channel and asking about Roger, which is very interesting. Okay. Thank you so much. Let me just, that was beautiful. Let's see. Desiree, any messages from mom or dad? Are they together? Desiree, let me see. Hang on. I'm just reading the comments for a second. And okay, let me think here or feel. You're welcome. Thank you. I'm getting all these lovely comments. Thank you so much. Your parents are definitely together, Desiree. Did your dad, Pat, was it 5 years apart or 5? Why is 5 significant for you, Desiree? Does 5 mean something for you? Were they 5 years apart, your parents? Do you have 5 kids? What's the 5 significant for? Because I need you to answer kind of quick so that I don't keep the listeners hanging. Courtney writes, you're healing so much just by giving me that message. Thank you. Okay, Desiree. So your parents are together. Do you have two siblings also? Is there three of you? Because they're showing me three also. Are you one of three children? They wanted to talk about their three kids. Yes, they are five. Thank you. The five she's writing. I can't think of it right now. And then she just wrote, yes, they are 5 years apart. Thank you. And then she just wrote, yes, she's one of three. I wrote down the notes, one of three for you. It's mirrored. So, and then the 5 years for you is on my paper. So they want you to know that they're together. They stayed married. They're like both talking at me right now. So hold on. Okay. So would this make sense? Were they married a very long time? Okay. I'm going to start with that because they're showing me like longevity in their marriage till death do us part. Okay. So I want to say that that's what they want to say. And I'm waiting for an answer because I feel like they had this really deep, loving relationship that was very close. And so I'm getting a comment that says, yes, 22 years. They were together till she passed. Yeah, she passed first. I was going to say that because your dad told me that she passed first. And they both like to talk, okay? They both love to talk. I'm getting a message again. No lie. His wife just messaged me out of the blue. She never is up this late. So this is the wife of Roger, who I just channeled. His wife is texting this gal here. I see it, Todd. I can't. Sorry. My computer's acting so bizarre. Pardon me for the interruptions. Okay, so they were true love. Okay, so back to your parents that have been together. They were 5 years apart, and your mom passed first, and they were true love. They're over your two siblings. I feel like you have a brother. Do you have one of each? Because they're showing me a brother and a sister. Do you have a brother and a sister? They gave you a really beautiful example of what they're just showing me, like hearts and warmth and this really deep connection, and that they gave you a really good example. This is what your mom's telling me of what love should look like. Okay. And she feels like she gave you a really good sense of what makes a nice marriage in her point of view. Okay. 2 sisters and a half brother. Okay. Thank you. So there's 3 girls. One of 3 girls. She did, and so Desiree's saying 2 sisters and a half brother, not dads. And then she did show marriage, and as an example was really beautiful in her opinion. So that's confirmation that she's around all of you, her 4 kids. Okay. And please make sure that you tell your siblings that she's around. And she also wants to talk about flowers. She loved flowers. Like, I'm just seeing all these flowers around her. And I feel like she died really young, and I'm so sorry. She passed pretty young, but she's in like fields of flowers. So she wants me to let you know that too. Okay. And she's sending you so much love. Let me know if the flowers make sense to you. We have to wrap it up in a minute. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Our time is up, unfortunately. It goes so quick. But if you'd like to get a session with me, go to spiritualtalking.com. The coupon is podcast20 and save 20%. I've got to go. Desiree says she gave flowers on Mother's Day all the time. We still give them to our Mother's Day. Oh, that's so interesting. See, she's talking about the flowers. She doesn't miss a thing. She's sending you so much love. We do still give them to her on Mother's Day. I love it. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Follow me on TikTok,
The
Instagram.
truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.